Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Just Talking About Films podcast, where we get together and just talk about films. That's all we do for this short time, and hope that you can get involved in what we're saying and involved in the discussion. My name is Ian Sargent.
And my name is Luke Taylor, and it's great to be with you. Today we're going to be going over the films that we've looked at in the past 2 weeks, because we didn't actually record last week because Ian was having broadband issues. And then we're going to have some questions that have been sent to Ian that we don't know what they are yet. Yes.
Yes, I'm excited. We did it a couple of weeks ago, and then I've been just getting a few from different places. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of questions we get, and we'll discuss that. And then in the coming weeks, we'll have new themes to develop and things to look at specifically.
Yeah, it's good. I enjoyed just doing that gut reaction. Although I have to be honest with you, afterwards, I regretted every gut reaction I said.
Yeah, I think that's part of what makes it interesting, because you can't prepare and you can't think about it. You just got to say. So, yeah, I mean, I think I was quite pleased with my reactions and my responses.
I picked Yoda as my favourite Star Wars character. That's just not true.
You did, yeah. Yeah, well, well, what would you say now?
I'd say Darth Vader.
Yeah, Vader's good, complex, and ultimately, he's just a tortured soul, isn't he?
But yeah, anyway, it's just, yeah, I went over all of the things that I said, and I was like, well, that was wrong. Anyway, but you got your reaction, so, you know.
Yeah, so maybe Yoda is your favorite character. You wish
I just don't know it.
I don't know. Yeah.
Oh dear. Right, well.
Very good. So I haven't been watching a lot over the last 2 weeks, Luke. I think I've got 2 films, one for each week, so it's probably best we start with you.
Okay. Well, I've watched a lot of films over the past 2 weeks, so I won't do them all, I don't think. Did I talk about Venom last time?
I don't think so.
No, if I didn't.
Yes, I think you did, but we'll do it again.
I'll touch on it very briefly. Don't bother. It's terrible. There we go.
Yeah, I think you said it because I was like, yeah, why did Tom Hardy do it? And you said Tom Hardy is obviously clearly having a lot of fun, but it's just not very good. Yeah,
but he's the only one. So since then, we've done Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, which I had a lot of fun watching that. It's not top tier Marvel. It's probably pretty forgettable after a while, but there was some fun. It was good fun while we're watching it, and it got me thinking that I want to watch all of Sam Raimi's films again. So some of his I haven't seen. In fact, I picked up on 2 of them this week. But yeah, I'd forgotten how much fun a director he is, because he's been gone for years. So it was nice to see something of his on the big screen again. And even though it is a Doctor Strange film, it's very much a Sam Raimi film as well. Raimi, whichever you describe it as. So I had a good time. It wasn't, it's one of those ones where I enjoyed it while I was watching it. I don't know how much it'll stick with me. It's quite scary at times. It might be the scariest Marvel film. It definitely jumped out my skin a few times, which was nice.
You said it wasn't top tier Marvel. So what is top tier Marvel?
Oh, I'd have to go with Avengers Endgame and Infinity. Those are the ones I really, and the Spider-Man films as well, I really enjoy. So Winter Soldier's top tier as well, I'd say.
Okay.
But anyway, yeah, it was good. It was good fun. Doctor Strange isn't my favorite. But
no, I can't be doing with him. I didn't because it just, even like, how I feel about the multiverse. It's just a nonsense, and it kind of just makes things too complicated for me. But I didn't mind Doctor Strange in Spider-Man. I thought he was all right. He was a means to an end, and I could live with that. But I couldn't be doing with a whole film of that floating through the sky into other things and other dimensions.
I mean, the focus of the film really isn't him, I don't think, particularly. I think the real strong part of the film is Elizabeth Olsen's Scarlet Witch. She is really, really good in it, and goes through so much stuff in the over the course of the film, and she plays it so well as an actress. Very good, very impressed. So yeah, I enjoyed it enough. And then I watched Planet of the Apes, the old Charlton Heston original one, which I think I'd seen years and years ago, but I remember nothing about it. And you know what? It was kind of fun. It was kind of goofy and Uh, his acting in it is quite something. There's so many lines that I've heard quoted time and time again, and I didn't really have a proper context for them. But he is he is bonkers in the film. It's quite fun to watch. Some of his line readings are just I can see why it endured and why it was so popular. I had a good time watching it, and especially, of course, you know the twist at the end. And everybody knows the twist at the end. I can't imagine what that film would have been like if you didn't know the twist at the end.
No.
But I had a good time. It's worth watching.
Yeah, and where did you watch that?
That's on I think they're all on Disney Plus at the moment.
Oh.
So that was fun. I watched a film called The Lie, which was absolutely dire. I'm trying to remember who was in it now. I can't even remember who was in it. It was a girl confesses to killing a friend at school, a school friend, and the parents cover it up, and it just things snowball and snowball as it goes on, and it's just it felt like a student film. It just felt like the acting was so unconvincing, and there's a big plot twist at the end that there's like you really see coming. And it's on Prime at the moment. If you come across, because the trailer looks really good, it looks like it's going to be a dark. It feels like it's going to be Passengers, you know, that kind of not Passengers, Prisoners.
Yeah, Prisoners.
It isn't. It really isn't. It's don't let the trailer fool you. It is not worth watching.
Okay.
Then we went to see Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Okay.
Which is the second film I'd seen in a week about the multiverse, and the better of the two.
Okay.
It's very funny. You'll giggle the whole way through it. It's playful in the way it's filmed. It's playful in the way the story goes. It's got some really clever twists and turns in it. It does outstay its welcome, though. I think it's a little long.
Okay.
Towards the end, it was getting a little bit like, okay, I'm done now. You can wrap up. Come on, please wrap up. And it was just taking a long time to wrap up. Because it structures itself with Everything Everywhere All at Once is like 3 chapter headings almost. You're halfway through the second one thinking, oh no, there's a whole other chapter heading to come. And you kind of like it's just get a little bit much at the end, but it is a lot of fun and would very much recommend it.
Okay.
Let me think. And then I decided I was going to do some Sam Raimi films.
Okay.
So I found on BBC iPlayer of all places A Simple Plan. Have you ever seen it?
Never heard of it.
It's 3 guys, 2 of them are brothers, one of them's a friend, who come across a crashed aeroplane, and it's in the snowy, Minnesota, small town kind of thing. And in that plane, there's a dead body who's been there a long time and a big bag of money. And they decide to keep the money. And then everything starts to go wrong. And it gradually, things begin to really snowball out of control, and you end up doing things you never thought you'd do. And it's a very good film, and it's got a great end to it as well. One of those ends where you get to the end of the film and you just feel like really sorry for the people in it, if that makes sense. And it was very good, a worth watch. It's got Billy Bob Thornton in as one of the main characters, and he is excellent. I think it's quite an early Billy Bob Thornton, but he is really, really good.
And what's it called? Men with a Plan.
A Simple Plan. A Simple Plan. And Bill Paxton is his brother, and Bridget Fonda is his wife in it as well, and she's again really good. Really, really worth watching. Thoroughly enjoyed it. One of those films where you go, how have I not seen this before?
Yeah.
Really good. So then I was like, right, I'm going to do another Sam Raimi film. And this is one of those films you don't want to admit to watching because of the title. Drag Me to Hell.
Okay. I've heard of that.
Which is, it's kind of, it kind of feels like a Ghost Train of a film. there's lots of things jumping out and going rah to scare you, and and there's lots of jump scares and lots of stuff where it's just gross to look at, but it's actually a really fun film. But one of those ones that you think, I wish it was called something else, because I can't recommend it because of the title. But I enjoyed that. Then we went to, again, I'm going to skip over some more of these. We went to the cinema to see Firestarter. That's just come out, a new adaptation of a Stephen King novel.
Yeah.
And it turns out not every Stephen King book is a winner.
Right.
Not all of them should be filmed. I don't know what the original Firestarter was like. I don't know if the book's any good, but the film is dreadful. Absolutely dreadful. You get to the end of it, and I think there was a whole bunch of us went to see it, and we got to the end, and it was just like, what, is that it? That's literally it. That's how you come out and you feel like, I've just wasted 2 hours watching this. So do yourself a favor, don't go watch Firestarter.
I won't go and watch the Firestarter, the twisted Firestarter.
And then Prince of Egypt.
Okay.
I don't know why I watched it. I just fancied watching it.
Busman's holiday, isn't it?
But you know what? I'd forgotten how good Prince of Egypt is. It treats the story so reverently, but tells it in its own way. And amazing, amazing film. Had me all the way through, emotionally invested right to the end. And it's one of those films where I don't think you can improve it. I don't think you could improve anything in it. It was really, really good telling of the story. And I don't normally like that kind of thing, with singing all the way through it.
It is good. I prefer the book, but I did think it was a good adaptation.
The book is better, yes.
A bit long, though.
And then I'll do one more. I know you rewatched it recently, but I've rewatched Top Gun ready for the new one coming out. And I'd have to admit, I didn't remember much about Top Gun at all. Been a long time since I've seen it, but yeah, it seems to be the most 80s thing ever.
It does, doesn't it?
It's very 80s, and its usage of Danger Zone. It's just like, it's been 5 minutes and we haven't played Danger Zone. Should we play Danger Zone again? It's just after a while it begins to seem comical. But I enjoyed it. At the end of it, where they're having the actual combat situation, and that whole bit, edge of your seat stuff, I really enjoyed it. It just works. Yeah,
it's amazing how, not knocking Tom Cruise, he's become a very, global figure. But it's amazing how it must be 99% of the films he's in, you want to punch his character in the face.
It's that grin. That grin is a grin you want to punch.
Yeah, the smile and the he just plays smarmy very well. But then ultimately, you end up being on the side in most films. But he's just got it down to a fine art. So it's like that. Yeah, the smarmy and the cheesy grin.
It's weird.
Not that I advocate
violence,
you
don't like his character. I don't like Maverick. Even by the end of the film, I'm like, I don't like this guy, but I'm still rooting for him by the end of it.
Absolutely, and it's because he's arrogant and he is all these things. And you should, like, as a kid, I didn't like Iceman, but he's the most sensible one.
Yeah, now you're kind of like, Iceman's kind of got a point.
Yeah.
Everybody who's telling them, buck up, they're kind of right, but still, by the end of the film, you're totally on his side.
Yeah. So yeah, but the Danger Zone thing is probably the most 80s film ever.
Yes. But yeah, I enjoyed that. Enjoyed it a lot. So that's been. I've watched a few more, but I won't go into those.
So me, the two that I've watched Kodachrome. Did I mention it last time?
No, you didn't. No.
So Kodachrome's good. I'd seen it. It was recommended for me, I think, on Netflix. Right. And it's got Ed Harris in it, and Jason Sudeikis and Elizabeth Olsen. And it's a bit cheesy and a bit cliched, but I like it. It's well shot, well acted, and you know where it's going and you know how it's going to end. But it's still good and it's quite emotional, even though I'd guessed what would happen at the end, as soon as it started. But basically, it's about a guy who's Jason Sudeikis, his dad and him didn't get on, and he hasn't spoken to him for 10 years. Now his his dad's pretty wealthy and he's going to die, but he's a world-renowned photographer. And he only, gets his pictures developed on a certain type of film called Kodachrome. And there's only one place in the country that does it, or one place in the world, and they're stopping soon. So he wants to take some rolls of film that he's found to get developed before he dies. So then it ends up anyway that he wants his son to go with him. He doesn't want to go, and then he ends up going with him and with the carer, which is Elizabeth Olsen.
So it's kind of like a road trip.
Yeah, so it's a road trip, but because it's about photography, it's shot very well. So you get a lot of these great shots, but you know what's going to happen through it, the relationship, but that bitterness is there and different things, and then. Yeah, you get to see his life, and it's a good story. It's a bit of a feel-good with some painful bits and some funny bits in it. But I really enjoyed it. It's weird seeing, say, Jason Sudeikis for me is now all about Ted Lasso, so it was strange seeing that. But I just thought it was a charming film. It's one of them ones where I know as soon as it starts, it's full-on cheese. But I mean, it's like, I don't care. I love this, right? It's not the most complex. It's not. There's no shocks. There's no twist. But this is what I'm here for. This, you know what I mean? So I loved it, even though I knew everything was going to happen. I could have written the script. It was cliche. The soundtrack is really good. There's bits in it where, because he's a music, an agent, I think, signs bands and stuff. So the soundtrack is kind of good, and there's bits where he reminisces about music he used to like. So yeah, the soundtrack's really good. I really enjoyed it. So. And Ed Harris is always good. So.
What's it called? Kodachrome?
Yeah.
Is it
Starts
Netflix?
with a K. I think it's Netflix.
Have a quick look.
Netflix or Amazon, but I think it was Netflix.
Sounds like something I want to try. How do you spell Kodachrome?
Koda.
Got you. I see it. Yeah. I'm
Chrome.
gonna add that to my Netflix list.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. There we go. Got it.
And then, and then I watched X-Men for our film club. So rewatched X-Men. That is 20 years old now, the original one. And as I say, it starts off really well. I said this in our group, and I loved it. And it just falls apart pretty quickly. It's not even the fact that it's dated. It's just the story is just so boring.
It's weird. It seems like. You kind of trying to remember back 20 years ago, you think, was this exciting when it came out? Were we all blown away by the story, or were we not? Because looking back, you're like, it's so simple, the story. It's too simple.
Yeah. I think I was blown away by the potential. It was X-Men, it was new, there was new characters to explore, and it was just the beginning, so you kind of let it off. But the opening with Magneto as a child, in the concentration camp and the Wolverine bit, that's all great until he meets Sabretooth. Then it falls apart pretty quickly. Do you know what I mean? It just all becomes a bit, where are you going with this? And the whole, Xavier and Magneto thing could have been so much better, and it's just like, I mean, it gets better later on, but it's just like, and Rogue as well, she's an interesting character, and then it's just like, I'm going to use her today, and I was just like, yeah, it could have been so much better. The first third I was hooked. The second 2/3 I'm like, what is this? Which for me is was a trait of superhero films and Marvel films. A lot like Wonder Woman, starts really well and just falls away really quickly. What's it called? Captain America, the first Avenger, starts really well, falls away. So they set it up really well, and some of them just fall to bits.
Yeah, I think X-Men as well. The second one's where it really finds what its level. I think the second one, I think it was a great film, but the first one, you put up with it a little bit when it came out, because it's like, well, this is, it's building towards something, but yeah, it's not the most. I mean, even the conclusion, the big epic conclusion at the end, is not that epic, is it?
No, but then same with the whole X-Men journey. It kind of, it's peaks and troughs, isn't it? It starts the film starts well, the first one, then goes down a bit, and the second film's good, and then it just bounces along and it reaches heights and depths.
It
It's
does.
like
There seems to be no
don't know what to
logic
do.
behind it.
No. It's like, how many times do they have to go make something about Wolverine before they finally get it right? So there's aspects of all of like the origins Wolverine. There's aspects of that are really good,
There's
but
some
they
terrible
didn't nail
parts
it. Yeah, but they didn't nail it until they got to Logan for me.
Yeah, yeah. Logan's great. Very good film.
Yeah, but then that's the end. So it's like, oh, okay, you finally got it right, and he's gone. So then two I've been watching, but I got broadband yesterday, so I've downloaded June to my Sky planner.
Ooh,
so
I'm looking forward to
get
what you
that
hear say about that. I think that's going to be
so I'll get that watching.
Great. Oh, I'm envious you get to watch that for the first time.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't watched a lot of films this week because I've been busy, and there's been a lot of football on each night, so I've been choosing to watch the football rather than films. But the football season finishes soon anyway, so it finished for United months ago, but for everyone else, it finishes soon. So.
Yeah.
So I'll get more films watched.
Good. Well, so there'll be a good amount this week. Yes, I think there's some good films coming out, and hopefully by the time we meet again, I'll have seen the new Top Gun film.
Yeah, me too. I want to plan to do that. So.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. It's reviewing really well, so actually quite excited now.
Yeah, well, the trailers I've seen, and this is a bit because, like, looking back at the other one in the 80s, it was good and all that, and probably at its time, but the actual effects or the footage of the planes, because I did a lot of it for real, it just looks amazing. You know, you see the sonic booms behind it, just looks really, really good.
Yeah, that's one thing I noticed when watching the first one is when you've got the shot of them in the cockpit, it's so close because you can't see it, you just see blue behind them because obviously they're not really in there. Which makes sense, but the difference of being able to pull out and see the actual landscape behind them, it looks like it's going to be very exciting.
Yeah, and there's a few in the first one I was watching it the other week, the same as you, that they use some footage 2 or 3 times.
Yeah,
you know, where you see the jets of the aircraft and stuff. It's like, I've just seen that. So. Okay, so that's what we've been watching. It'd be interesting to know what you've been watching. Have you seen any of those films that we've mentioned? What you think of them? We say this every week, and very few people get in touch. So please get in touch. Let us know what you think, and we'll see. We'll ask you on Twitter and Facebook as well. See what you think.
Yeah, right. Let's move to the questions.
Right, I've got 4 questions here, Luke.
Okay.
Let me open them. Right. So the first one. So there's no name on this. We kind of did it last time, but it's your best animated film. So last time we did Disney, but what's your favorite animated film?
Wow. It might have just become The Prince of Egypt.
Right, Prince of Egypt.
It might just have. I mean, that's freshest in my mind. So it's like right there. And I'm probably missing something obvious, but I think as of today, it's The Prince of Egypt.
Okay, Prince of Egypt. I would probably still stick with Toy Story. I think visually it's superb. I love the heart of the story. I love, about new people and, being scared of strange people and stuff like that. So I like the messages and the friendship that occurs through it. It's just a clever idea. So yeah, I'll stick with Toy Story.
Or Roger Rabbit. Does that count?
Yeah.
It's half animated.
So what do you think? What's your best animated film? What's your gut reaction when we ask that question?
That's to get in touch with us, but don't think about it. Send us the first thing that pops into your mind.
Yeah. So thank you to, I can't remember who it was that asked these questions. I've got 4 of them. If none of them have got names on, I won't know. Because I'm asking just people that I have meetings with and catch up with. So I'm asking people in the church and everything. Right. Oh, dear. Who would play you in a film about your life?
Oh, dear me.
Right, I would say young me. I would have a young DiCaprio. Old me would either be Jack Black, Johnny Vegas, or James Corden. That's quite a leap, that, isn't it? Young DiCaprio to James Corden. But that's the leap that I have made. So Titanic DiCaprio for teenage me, to, Jack Black or James Corden or Johnny Vegas now.
Oh, bless you. Don't pick Johnny Vegas. Don't pick Johnny Vegas.
Okay.
Jack Black's okay. He's cool, but don't pick Johnny Vegas.
I don't know, monkey. Right, so,
man, that's a hard question. Well, okay, we got to go with your gut reaction, haven't you? Well, do you hear that aeroplane?
No. Tom Cruise.
Yeah, Tom Cruise. No, I think my gut reaction, the first name that popped to mind was Rainn Wilson.
Okay.
I think just because he's funny looking.
Okay.
I always feel a bit funny looking. Man, that's hard. Who would play me in a film? I'm just gonna. You gotta go with your gut reaction, and that was Rainn Wilson. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, which is a little offensive to myself, but hey.
Pick what you can.
Although he's too tall, you need somebody short. I need somebody short. I need a short actor.
Yeah, well, if you're listening to this or watching this, get in touch with who you think would play you in a film of your life, and if you have any suggestions about who would play us in the films of our life.
Yes, we could do with help on this. But I don't know.
I think I've nailed mine. Teenage me with my blonde highlights and my curtains. Yeah, I think DiCaprio copied my look. And then older me, it's like, hang on. We fell apart a bit like the X-Men. Started well, but...
Oh, dear. I'm trying to think of short actors.
Tom Cruise or what's Frodo Baggins? What's it called? Elijah Wood.
Elijah Wood. Yeah. Yeah, let's go with Elijah Wood. There we go. He's short enough.
Okay, next one. Let's open this last one. Which film is your guilty pleasure? Pleasure. I think it says pleasure.
My guilty pleasure film. Okay. Do you want to go first or second?
Second, because I can't think of one.
Mine's Death to Smoochie.
Death to Smoochie, yeah, you've mentioned that
before.
Just
I know it's probably not a great film. It's one of those films that would never get made today. In fact, I was amazed. There's some stuff in that film that is just so off the wall, and some of it's quite offensive. But I don't half enjoy it. Or Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story.
Yeah,
which I find hilarious every time I watch it. But I wouldn't admit to that, which I just did.
Yeah, my guilty pleasure. The first thing that came to my mind was Legally Blonde. I do like it. You know what I mean? Everything about it I shouldn't like.
That's not a guilty pleasure. That's a really good film.
Is it?
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's not. I just really like it. I might really like it because it's a good film. But when I was thinking, what film do I like that people might be surprised about? That's a bit of a guilty pleasure.
I think that was a star-making turn from Reese Witherspoon in that film. I think that's
And Dirty Dancing was possibly another one.
Okay, that one is a guilty pleasure. You can be guilty.
As a kid, I hated it, but now I don't mind it. Grease is probably the ultimate one, but I love Grease. I don't care who knows it.
Have you seen the thing that's just going around on YouTube at the moment where someone's done the scene from the end of Dirty Dancing, you know, the I'm having the time of my life dance to the Muppets theme tune?
No.
Google it afterwards. It's very funny.
But yeah, they're the things. The first one came to mind was Legally Blonde, but and then Dirty Dancing. I like Dirty Dancing.
Yeah, you can feel guilty about liking Dirty Dancing. That's fine.
Okay. Right. Final question. So I'm trying to read what this says. As ordained ministers, which film have you used as an illustration in your sermons?
Wow. Lots of them.
Yeah, I think I've used a few. There's two that come to mind for me. One is Hacksaw Ridge.
Oh, yeah, I've used that as well, yeah.
And the other is Armageddon.
Armageddon? All right. No, I've never used that. Never used that. What was your illustration with Hacksaw Ridge?
I think it was One More Lord.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me
So
too.
yeah, I think the sermon was entitled "One More, Lord." Just help me help
Mine,
one more person.
mine was called Just One More.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah. What's your most recent one?
I don't know. I try and get a lot in, not intentionally, but it's what I'm interested in. So it plays out a bit, but it's sometimes hard to find films that everyone's seen. So that everyone gets the pop culture reference.
Yeah,
I think
sometimes that's
Rocky.
hard.
I've used Rocky a few times. Can't remember what the latest one is. But yeah, I remember using Armageddon because if I remember correctly about Bruce Willis, he sacrifices himself for the whole of humanity. So
Yeah,
there's an obvious link there. And the Passion of the Christ, but I won't count that.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I'm trying to think. The most recent one, or the most recently mentioned one for me, would be City Slickers.
Yeah, yeah. And you said not many people seen it.
No, I was surprised that you do because you got to do the hands up. You know who's seen it, so you know who to aim what you're saying to at. There wasn't many hands at all, but that was the whole one thing. There's one thing for purpose in life that I took from that. And then I used the Prestige once, which I love that film, about the idea of not finding your identity in your job, and dealing with obsession. The thing is, often it's quite you just drop things in like a little bit here and there, don't you?
Yeah.
But I think the most recent one was City Slickers. Live, Die, Repeat. Edge of Tomorrow's got a good one as well about dying to self daily. That's good.
Yeah, I've used Lego Movie about us all being the super that we have the potential to change the world in each other. So I've used that. Yeah.
The good thing is I think every film can be used in some way because there's a message in every film is trying to say something about life.
Yeah.
I think you can use any film.
Yeah, there's one film I watched, and I watched it in the Czech Republic. And I can't remember what it was now because I watched it in the Czech Republic with subtitles. And it was basically just the gospel in a film, but I can't remember what it was now. But yeah, but as you say, there's like Star Wars. You look at Star Wars, there's so much you could take about the Force. Do you know what I mean? And there's a lot of spiritual things in there, the way the dress, you strike me down, you just make me stronger, and all of this. It's like
you can use more. E.T. You've got Superman. So many films you can just pull something in like that. But
yeah, I mean, I think I used a quote recently, which was "What we do today echoes through eternity," which is Gladiator, but I didn't mention the film. I don't think.
Yes,
but yeah, there's so many. So that's a great question. Thank you very much for that. So yeah, it just comes out in life, illustrations, because if it's something you enjoy. So there's a lot of that, a lot of references about football in my sermons. 90s music comes out a lot.
I'll maybe avoid some of the 90s music a little bit less, though. Because I don't have the best references for 90s music. I like stuff that doesn't seem to be very popular anymore.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess, what about you? I mean, many of you may not get to preach every week. It depends on what your job is and what you believe. But if you can think of some films that could help us with our sermon illustrations that we haven't mentioned, let us know. It's always good to get help with sermon prep. So
that would be a good idea.
Yeah, some films that you think have got a strong, message that aligns with something that the preacher might use, then that's good.
Yes. Brilliant. I enjoyed those questions. I find them every time you do it, I'm looking forward to it each time. And then when you ask it, my brain just goes blank.
Yeah, well, I know the people I asked, but I don't know who asked which question because I didn't put the names on this time, which I forgot to ask. But next time I'll do it. So thank you for that. And if you've got any questions that you want to send us anonymously or by post or whatever, so that it's better if we can't read them. It is our gut reaction, but I understand that that's difficult digitally, because I can't open it and not read it and forget about it. But if we get a load of them, we could put them in a thing and just open them over time. So yeah, thank you. And I'll keep asking people when I meet with them, which is a bit funny. But can you just do this for me before? And also, if you want to come on and answer some of these questions with us, or talk about the things that you've been watching, or talk about certain films or something, then let us know. We genuinely love to have people to come on. It's just a Zoom. chat, and then and then it gets produced. So we would love to hear from you.
Yes, and really enjoyed going through them all today. And let us know what you've been watching as well. What have you been watching this week? What do you recommend that we've not seen that's currently out at the moment? Stuff that's maybe new. Let us know. We suggest some films for us to watch, and we'll try and watch them as well. I enjoy watching films based on recommendations. Yeah,
and also if you've got a film that you want us to watch, and then discuss it over a whole show, we're quite happy to do that.
Yeah.
Either something old or something new that you think, based on something we said, that would be good. So I'm going to check out A Simple Plan, which Luke recommends. But anything like that we haven't seen, hidden gems, I really like looking at that.
Yeah, I'm going to try Kodachrome as well. It'd be good to, see what each other thinks of those films.
Yeah, and as I say, entirely cheesy, but I loved it. Absolutely,
I'm looking forward to it. Gotta love a bit of cheese.
Oh, absolutely. So, well, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening again. Get in touch with any suggestions you've got, any questions, or as Luke said, any recommendations. And we look forward to being with you soon.
See you soon.